Hi, I'm Alex McCord and welcome to The Real Deal on thestir.com. Today we have the Real Housewives of Beavers and Antlers. Montana. No, I mean New York City. As well as the premiere of a brand new series on E! Botched, featuring one current and one ex-Real House husband, Drs. Terry Dubrow and Paul Nassif. First, let's get the Real Housewives of New York City over with, shall we? Aviva Drescher is not in Montana, nor is she in the credits. Again, for the second time this season, Aviva's apple has been yanked. This seems to be a new thing at Bravo, because in years past, if a housewife missed an episode or two, she wasn't deleted from the credits. And in fact, this season even, Ramona missed one or two, I don't remember which, at the beginning when she was on safari in Africa. She kept her apple. So what's the difference? Well, with Ramona, that trip would surely have been planned way in advance before filming was locked, and so it was already happening and she couldn't get out of it, whereas Aviva decided she would not participate in mandatory cast trips. So that's the difference. I remember back in season 2, we had a date issue where we'd already booked our trip to St. Bart's, and we told the producers, you can come with us if you want, but we're going. And that was fine. That's sort of an excused absence, whereas Aviva's are not. Well, also, last night, Radar Online put out a story that Daddy George and his fiancée Cody want a spin-off. Of course they do. But, if they get their way, if they sell it somewhere, I guess Aviva could get some camera time there. What do you think? Would you watch that? Back in Montana, the gals are fly fishing, rappelling, skeet shooting, and geocaching, and all of this is tons of fun to do. But not so much fun to watch other people do on TV. I have to say, it made me want to turn the television off and go climb a rock, which is probably not what the producers intended. The only point that I will make about this episode is that Luanne dipped back into the I'm angry about the facialist well, and she got really angry. But if Luanne stopped to think about it, she would realize why it all happened the way it did. You see, Luanne's personality is hardwired to cover up, to cover the dirty laundry. That's what she does. She doesn't want anyone to know what she's doing behind closed doors. She slams those doors shut as hard as she can. Whereas, on the other hand, Sonja artlessly and proudly lets every little bit of gossip and scandal hang out. Naked? Fantastic. Bankrupt? No problem. Getting sued? Let it all hang out. You see, Sonja's not a hider, and Luanne is. So why does Luanne expect Sonja to understand and help her hide? It's not in Sonja's nature. Luanne's asking Sonja to do a 180, which, if you think about it, is unreasonable. But speaking of Sonja, somebody last week asked me about all her interns and how she gets them. I'm sorry I can't remember who asked me, or else I would flash it on screen, but I'll answer the question anyway. What about Sonja and the interns? I actually think she might have gotten the idea from me. Simon and I have a company that we use for TV, for social media, for even the video that you are watching right now, all of it. And a lot of people in our line of work do. The corporation is a member of lots of internship programs at various colleges around the city, depending on their specialty, whether it's fashion or IT or social media, whatever. Whenever work is really busy and you need an extra pair of hands who can do something productive, you create an internship and you submit it to the school. They have to approve it, and once they do, they send it to the Student Placement Center so people can apply. The terms will vary based on the skill set, but it's either 1 day a week or maybe it's 15 hours, and it's very regimented. A professor visits the location where the intern will be working, in this case, the house, and they make sure everything is kosher. There is a timesheet, a department head has to sign off on it, and once everything's all done, they do get college credit. We have hired interns as runners for our wardrobe stylists, for social media, for the book tour, for various PR things, but make no mistake, it's a lot of paperwork to get them. You have to map out the internship like a class syllabus, and if you go over and above the terms, you have to pay them minimum wage at the very least. Now, back when Sonja and I first met, I told her all of this, and she jumped at it. Now, I don't know whether she actually went and signed up with all the colleges with her company, or whether she gets them off Craigslist or in bars and just says they're getting college credit. I don't know what's true there. Either one could be. The process of getting an intern is similar to hiring an au pair, which I know Sonja has done before, but typically you only get one at a time, not an army of them. Unless Sonja is teaching an entire class in the ways of Lady Morgan. Would you sign up to study under Professor Sonja? Now let's move on to a very interesting development. Last night, at the very same time the New York City Housewives were on the air, E! Premiered its brand new series, Botched, featuring one current and one ex-Real Househusband, Terry Dubrow and Paul Nassif from Orange County and Beverly Hills. And it's an interesting move by Comcast, who own both Bravo and E! Surely somebody at Bravo was screaming, yelling, and hollering that these shows were put on the air at the very same time, but they would have had no say over that. Nearly all the California housewives from Orange County and Beverly Hills were tweeting all over Twitter saying, "Watch Botched, watch Botched." I mean, no loyalty to housewives there. But if you think about it, Orange County, Beverly Hills, Vanderpump Rules, and Botched are all produced by Evolution, the same production company. Now, this was only an issue for last night. Next week, Botched moves to Sunday nights after the Kardashians for the remaining 7 episodes. But enough about all the network squabbling. Let's talk about the show. Plastic surgery gone wrong. Ouch. It's a cautionary tale, and I was definitely watching with one hand on my face, my chest, you name it. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, probably all of us have thought about plastic surgery at one point or another. I mean, I know I have. I know exactly what I'm working with in this 40-year-old body, with the crooked nose, the thin upper lip, the boobs that went down 2 cup sizes post-babies, not to mention the virgin forehead. Oy. But seeing these disaster stories made me, and maybe lots of viewers who have not gone under the knife, grateful they hadn't. And for those who have, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a way out of bad plastic surgery. And listen, botched operations happen, whether they are cosmetic or medically necessary. I can count 5 people I know who've had to have revisions. So this is a show that will resonate with a lot of people. This week, we've got 2 revisions and 1 rejection. Let's talk about the rejection first. We've got Justin the Human Ken doll. Whew, he wants more leg implants. He does not fit the profile Terry and Paul want because there's nothing broken that needs fixing. And I found myself wondering, is Justin in there as comic relief? I mean, let's think about it. You know, with the uniboob story and the nose job story, those were both very sad. And then you flash to Justin in this Beverly Hills estate with naked boys by the pool. Everybody's in swim trunks. Everybody's beautiful. It's very snark-worthy. So, is this going to be a common format each week? 2 stories that make you cry plus 1 that makes you laugh? If so, that's smart. So we meet Alicia, who had a terrible implant job, making 1 big breast across her chest, leaving her unable to properly care for her toddler and in lots of pain. I mean, can you imagine what must have been going on inside her head? There's the self-esteem issue that led her to get implants in the first place, and then when it all turned out wrong, the guilt, that vanity is killing her relationship with her child and her husband and her quality of life. I mean, could you imagine how awful she must have felt? Now, I actually got a chance to chat with Alicia on Twitter last night while I was watching the episode, and I'm pleased to report that it's all going well. Her revision with Dr. Terry was in February, and she's still healing. I mean, there were 1,000 stitches, which will take a while to dissolve. But didn't she look great? That story has a happy ending, which is wonderful. Also, we met Michelle, who needs nose job number 7 to fix the 6 that went before. Now, in both cases, but particularly in Michelle's, we see the personality traits that led them to want plastic surgery in the first place: an unhappiness with their bodies, an impatience, a desire for something better. This is also where it's difficult from a production standpoint. With a tight shooting schedule, it's hard to show a true before and after because you need time for the swelling to recede, for the surgery to settle. You're not really catching the final project here. It would be interesting to do a reunion with all the patients at the end, although that could get expensive. I am looking forward to next week's episode with Janice Dickinson. I have had the pleasure of working with her before, and I can't wait to see what happens on the show. So, did you like Botched, and are you going to watch it next week? Let me know what you thought in the comments. For now, I'm Alex McCord. You're watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and comment and click and share.